Guess what time it is? It is 2025, so Happy New Year to the entire crew, all you subscribers, everybody that has watched my channel over the past 4 years. God, I can't believe it's 4 years already, but hopefully we're gonna have a very prosperous 2025. I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to finishing the Red MR2. But thank you guys. Just wanted to say a huge shout out to everybody. Happy New Year. Thank you for watching. We're back. I took a little break, but I'm back on the car. And I should say I took a break from YouTube just for maybe, I think it's like 2 or 3 weeks. But I certainly have not taken a break on this car. As you can see, I started putting it back together. It looks a little bit different. Got new wheels. Now these are not going to be the final wheels that are going to be resting on this car, but I am going to take these tires off of this rim and put it on some other rims that I have, but you guys got to wait and see. And just been doing a little work here and there. So I got the wheels on, kind of buttoned together a lot of this stuff, put the scoops on. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen I replaced the AC condenser on the front. The last video we did the evaporator. So I finally got the AC condenser replaced. I'll show you a little video. I'll slip it right in here. I started a video, but I just never got to finishing it, but I'll show you the footage right now. So here you go. All right, guys, so I didn't film removing this thing, but I wanted to show you. I took the AC condenser out, and as you can see here, it is falling apart. So that's kind of like the reason why, I wasn't sure. I figured look, see, this falls apart. So this one is pretty old. So I don't think this is, you can't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure it's leaking somewhere. I never need, either way, those fins are gone. So there's a line right there. There's a line right here. I have them over there on the floor that I took them out because the big issue along with the condenser being bad is this is a new line that I got. This goes, I'll show you guys real quickly. It goes on this side. So it goes up under the car and then it connects right here. Okay. But what happens is this junction, I couldn't get it pulled underneath the car. It's basically right under the driver's seat. So I had to cut it and try to release the connection right over there, but it broke. So now I have, this is the piece I took off. So it's broken here. This is a piece that goes to the back of the car, to the compressor. Compressor bolts up back there. And that's broken. So now I have these two pieces. Got to figure a way to either connect those or get another pipe like this to match this second-hand pipe that I got. So I'm kind of stuck in a rut here. Need a long line on the passenger side that goes to the back of the car to hopefully get the AC system back together. But for now I'm stuck. So what I'm going to do is I got to bring this car back in. You can see they didn't cut and buff it because the paint was still pretty wet, I guess. It had to cure before they cut and buff. So I'm gonna get the bumper on. I'm gonna bring it back to the shop, the paint shop. They're gonna cut and buff this thing. It should look really good. And then I'm gonna bring it back here, take the bumper off again, get the engine out, and then we're just gonna start moving forward with this build. So that's kind of like where we are. I want to give you guys a quick update on that. This is some progress that I made on the AC condenser. The good news is the new one is in place. I got the line in, I have the bumper on, and it's looking good. So with that said, we're here today. We got to do a video. It's the new year, so how are we going to kick it off? Now for 2025, definitely the red car is on the agenda. We're going to get the 2GR in this car. As you can see, if I show you over here, before I had the 2GR engine sitting right here, but I cleared it off because what's going to happen is right here, we're going to put our engine lift, and this motor, the 5SFE, is going to be coming out. So it's kind of prepped. I took the intake out already, and the rest of the engine is going to get prepped by next video. This thing should be detached, if not fully out of the car. I will do a video on that, so stay tuned. The 2GR build is finally coming together. It took 2025, but we're going to move in on it. So with that said, this is coming out, and then for today, I wanted to give you guys a quick tip. Inflation is running rampant, as we all know, so I got a really budget modification for you guys that's going to help all you MR2 guys out. Now, I must disclaimer, this is not my idea. I got it from a guy on YouTube. I think he's in LA, Trev MR2. He came up with the idea for some mud flaps for the MR2, and he used it on the rear. I happened to find a set that works on the front and the rear, but you got to do a little bit of modification. So I'm going to show you guys how I got that to fit. I'll show you what it looks like, and hopefully it's something you guys can use. In the meantime, here's the red car. I did wrap the T-tops because, you know, if it was a black car, I kind of like the solid color look, and luckily I had this wrap here and the color is pretty spot on. It looks pretty good. So I did wrap it. I still got to get it in the sun, get a little bubbles out of it, but so far I'm liking the look. Hopefully you guys like it too. It kind of looks like a hard top, and if you want to go T-top with the whole, you know, you just slip them out and then you get that black look, which if you like it, that's your thing, great. But for me, I like the solid color. So we got this done, we got the bumper done, I got to change the suspension, I got to do the wheels, a lot of things we got to do on this car. But nevertheless, guys, let's get to why we're here today. Happy New Year again, and here is my box from China. No, this thing cost me 15 bucks. It is, they are mud flaps from a 2017 to 2023 Model 3 Tesla. And, you know, mud flaps in my mind are pretty generic. So, you know, when I saw Trev MR2, he came up with this idea and he used it on the rear. And I believe in his case, he used the front mud flaps from the kit on the rear. I actually used the front mud flaps in the kit on the front, and we're using the rear mud flaps in the kit on the rear of this car. So 15 bucks, can't go wrong with that. And let me show you what it looks like. No, if you don't know, you don't know, but MR2 mud flaps, one, they're very hard to find. If you find the factory ones, it's crazy expensive. I'm not sure if MR2 ever sells them, but I'm sure even if they do, it's not for 15 bucks. So this is a good alternative. Is it perfect? No. Does it look good? Fit okay? I think so. But let me stop wasting time. Let me show you what it looks like. All right, guys. So here is the front. So MR2 mud flaps. Again, mud flaps is not necessarily my thing, but you know, when you work on these cars, you're always trying to find new things to do. So I figured, hey, not a mud flap guy, but mud flap is a thing for MR2s, and it gives me another project to do. So there you go, mud flaps. So here it is. There's that fit. Now you tell me, looking at this, does that look out of place? Because to me, it looks perfect. I looked at some pictures online for the factory ones, and actually it looks pretty much the same. So 2017 to 2023 Tesla Model 3 mud flaps, there it is. Now, does it bolt on? Do you just take it out of the box and bolt it on? Absolutely not. But I'm going to show you very, very slight modifications. I'm going to take you right under the car. Then the mud flap itself, from here all the way down, you really don't do anything. When you get right here, I'm going to show you. I'm going to bring the camera closer in, but all you're going to do is cut a notch just to clear the rocker panel here on the bottom, where you have that lip that goes under. That's all you're cutting out to clearance. So let me show you what I did and how I got this thing to work. All right, so on the MR2, you have some factory holes. So there's one right here and one up here. This is where there's a little plastic piece that goes on right up in front of the fender liner. So I just used the one on the top, and then we use the lower one on the bottom here. And what I was able to do is with this flap is get this hole, which comes factory pre-drilled on the flap, fully in. And if you look right here, it's not fully threaded through, but it's enough with a washer, a bolt with a washer, to kind of hold the flap in place. So that worked out pretty good, and it's very solid. Trust me, it's not going anywhere. So that's how you mount it on the inside. And really, these are the only two mounting points. So very simple, not much modification needed actually. I'll bring it around to the front right here. I'll show you how to cut that notch out. So let's go. All right, so looking under the bottom, as you can see, the factory piece comes down, and right here is where I cut a slit. Just notched it out just so we can clearance this piece on the bottom. And that's it, guys. Once you cut that out, this thing goes all the way up. You get the holes on the inside here to line up, and you just bolt it in and good to go. So, I mean, that worked out perfect for me, and I think it looks pretty awesome. So that's the front. So hopefully this helps you guys out if you're interested in mud flaps for your car. You know, I have 3 MR2s, so making them different is kind of like fun, because why would you want all of them looking the same? So this just kind of differentiates the red car, something different, and I think it's pretty cool. So that's the front. Let's head over to the back and see if we can get it to look just as good. Rear mud flaps, and I guess the big question is, how do you know the rears from the front different? The rears have, this section is actually a little bit wider than the front, so it's narrower on the front, a little bit more depth, I would guess you could say, on the rear mud flaps. Now, if you look at this side, this is actually the driver's side, and this is the passenger side. If you notice, this piece has not been modified. This piece has been modified for the rear. So this little lip right here, what I did is I literally just chopped it out. So if you look on this side, it's gone, right? All of here is gone. And the reason is, when you try to put this on the vehicle, right? Now let's say you're gonna try to put it on the vehicle, this is actually getting in the way. So you can't get this thing buttoned up on the bumper itself. I'll show you in a second, you'll see better what I'm talking about. So you're gonna have to cut this piece out, and then pretty much that's it. Once you cut this piece out, this thing really just kind of bolts up. Now, full transparency, I have not mounted this. Obviously, you're looking at them here. I haven't mounted it on the car yet, because this car is going in for the 2GR swap next. I got to take the rear bumper off. So, we do the whole jack thing to get the engine out. So once I get the bumper off, I'll mount this thing up. So I haven't put it on, but I'm going to show you how it fits. I can hold it on. Now, I did put as well, if you look right here, I have some foam padding that I put that's on the front as well, because sometimes these things, over time they kind of rub into the paint, and this car was just painted, so I'm trying to preserve the paint. So I did use some foam. So when I actually do line it up on the vehicle right here, anything that's going to rub, it's going to rub on the foam, and it's not going to scratch up my new paint. So with that said, I just put it on. Let me show you how this thing looks. All right, so as simple as it gets, you literally put it right here. Now, the whole trick with the mud flaps is this gap right here is to try to get it as close to the body as you can. Now, as you can see, if I put it in, because I cut out that notch I just showed you, look how nicely that lines up. Look at that, see that? So this is what it's actually gonna look like. I'm gonna have the camera go to the back so you guys can see it. I'm just holding it on. Fortunately, I don't have it bolted on, but hopefully this you guys will see. And once you secure it to the car, it's gonna look pretty cool. So that's basically it, guys. This is not rocket science. You literally put it in. Now the car, if you look at it, there's a factory hole on the bumper here. So what I'm gonna do is, when I get this thing lined in, I'm gonna drill a hole through this mud flap just to kind of pull it in and bolt it down right there. And then underneath, I can probably just drill another hole and run it through this piece. But again, I'm gonna probably get a little bit more creative there, because I don't want to unnecessarily bore stuff on the car if I don't have to. But that would be an easy point. One mounting here, one here, and you're done. Look at that. I'm holding on. I'm not even trying to force it. That looks pretty good. You could also use some double-sided tape to help with adhesion. But yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So check that out. So giving you guys another angle, this is looking at it from the rear of the car. That's just me holding it on. I haven't secured it yet, but I mean, dude, for Tesla stuff on an MR2 from 30 years ago, that's pretty cool. So I think it's a good find. So thank you, Trevor, MR2 in LA, for discovering this and sharing it with the MR2 community. Again, I didn't create I didn't make this up on my own, somebody else, but that's the beauty of our community. We share information, and this, I think, is a star, because for 15 bucks to be able to modify the car and have it looking this good, I think that's awesome. So with that said, guys, it is 2025. Happy New Year. Hope you guys enjoyed it. The 2GR build is coming, I promise you. Next week, this engine is gonna start. I'm gonna start pulling apart, drain the fluids, disconnect everything, and then the lift, if I get it this weekend, the engine is coming out. I gotta pick it up from my friend. So if that's the only thing that's really gonna delay the motor coming out. And once the motor comes out, then it's really just moving ahead. It will move pretty quickly. So, the only thing I'm worried about, honestly, is this car. You guys haven't seen a video in a couple of weeks, but trust me, I've been working. A lot of bolts have broken. I had to drill them out because, again, the car, it had some rust issues before, as you know, if you've been following. So I'm just crossing my fingers. There are 4 bolts on the subframe to get this thing down. I'm gonna drench them with PB Blaster. If those things pull without any problem, it's a home stretch. It's gonna be a very, very fun project. If not, it's just gonna be a little hiccup. We gotta sort that out. But it's not gonna deter us from getting this car looking awesome with a 2GR that I can be proud of. So thank you guys. Keep on watching. I'll catch you on the next one.